everyone in today's webinar, India's Constitution, a pillar of democracy. Indian Constitution is for the people, by the people, and of the people. Today's webinar is a part of our NSS campaign, Mera Yuva Bharat. And this is the tradition of our college that we start any event by evoking the presence of God. For this, I invite Ms. Niveta Sharma, our active NSS volunteer, to offer the prayer. Niveta, over to you.
Good evening, everyone. I request you all to sit straight in a prayerful position. Let us take a moment to remember God and ask for His blessings. Dear God, on this Indian Constitution Day, help us reflect upon the ideals and principles that guide our nation. Grant us the serenity to accept the things we cannot change, the courage to change the things that we can, and the wisdom to know the difference. May your holy light help us to approach this day with kindness, gratitude, and a compassionate heart, and celebrate the visionaries who framed our Constitution, fostering unity in diversity and upholding the values of justice, liberty, equality, and fraternity. Grant us the power to continue upholding and cherishing the democratic spirit embedded in our Constitution, working together for the progress and well being of our diverse and vibrant nation. Amen.
Unmute yourself, Ajay sir. Ajay sir, unmute yourself, please.
I believe I am on mute only. Is it
Now you are
okay?
unmuted. Yes, it's audible.
Now I invite our principal, Father Dr. Martin Porras, SJ, to welcome our resource person and other guests. Over to you, Father.
Thank you, Mr. Ajay. Am I audible?
Yes, Father.
Ladies and gentlemen, and lovable students, welcome to this webinar on Indian Constitution, a pillar of democracy, organized by the Social Awareness Committee of St. Xavier's College of Management and Technology. Today, as we commemorate the Constitution Day, we must take a moment to reflect on the values and principles that our Constitution embodies. The Indian Constitution is the foundation of our democracy, and it has played a crucial role in shaping the world's largest democracy for the last 75 years or so. The Indian Constitution is a living entity that continues to inspire and guide our nation's democratic journey. On this occasion, we are indeed fortunate to have Dr. S.Y. Qureshi, IAS, a former Chief Election Commissioner, as our esteemed speaker today. A stalwart in the field of public service and governance, Dr. S.Y. Qureshi has dedicated his life to upholding the principles of democracy and ensuring a transparent and fair electoral process. His illustrious career as the former Chief Election Commissioner of India has not only been a testament to his dedication, but also a source of inspiration for countless individuals across the globe. His insights and experiences will undoubtedly enrich our understanding of the Indian Constitution and its role in shaping our democracy. As the principal of the college, I consider it an honor to extend a warm welcome to Dr. S.Y. Qureshi. Welcome to you, sir. I also extend a warm welcome to each one of you who have joined us for this enlightening session. Your participation in this webinar reflects a shared commitment to learning, understanding, and celebrating the principles that define our democracy. On this Constitution Day, let's come together to learn, discuss, and celebrate the Indian Constitution that has made our nation a beacon of hope for the world and the entire humanity. Thank you once again. A warm welcome to each and every one of you.
Thank you, Father. Thank you very much. Now, this is the time to invite our resource person whose life has revolved around Constitution and its core values only. Sir, over to you.
Thank you, Ajay, and thank you, Father Martin, for your very kind words. You were very generous. I'm very happy to be associated with this program for more than one reason. One is that I was associated with the NSS, not as a volunteer in a college, not as a program officer or a program advisor in a university, but I was the head of NSS in the country when I was Joint Secretary Youth Affairs. So, and I thought this was one of the finest programs ever evolved in Government of India. And I remember in my time, we celebrated Silver Jubilee of the NSS, where we invited Prime Minister, Minister Narasimha Rao, and with great fanfare, we celebrated the program countrywide. I'm disappointed that later on, in later years and lately, it has not received the attention that it deserves. This is one of the finest programs ever conceived, as I said. So to be invited by NSS is an additional source of pleasure for me. Of course, I have been involved in constitutional matters, particularly as in my last posting as election commissioner and later on as chief election commissioner. And today is a very special day because today, 26th November 1949, the Constitution was adopted and it was to be enacted from 26 January 1950. But 16 articles were enforced from day one on this day itself, including articles which created the Election Commission of India. That was the importance given by the framers of the Constitution, founding fathers of the Constitution, to the election. And interestingly, Election Commission of India was born a day before India was born as a republic, on 25th January. Not many people seem to know about it. And in my time, when I introduced National Voters Day, you must have most of you must have heard of National Voters Day, which is celebrated on 25th January. By the way, even this National Voters Day had the history which is associated with NSS. What happened was that I had gone to Bhubaneswar. I was addressing a civil society meeting when somebody in the audience raised his hand and said that 18 years is a special age which must be celebrated. And I said, oh, that's a very good statement, and let us think of a celebration. And I requested a colleague of mine, Dr. Bhagwan Prakash, whom all NSS people will know because he was our program advisor of NSS for many, many years, and he worked with me very closely. And later on, I was so fond of him that wherever I went, I took him along, including the Election Commission. So I requested Dr. Bhagwan Prakash to think on that idea of celebrating 18 years as a special age and to do something. And what was born was National Voters' Day. Now, the interesting fact here is the guy who raised his hand and made that statement that we should do some celebration was a program advisor of NSS, Captain Subhash. Some of you may know those who are involved with NSS. So it was his suggestion, an NSS program advisor, on which a national program was born. Within a week, Dr. Bhagwan Prakash came up with this idea of celebrating the new voters. It was end of August, and in September we worked out the details of celebrating the National Voter Day countrywide, and we decided that all those who will become 18 on 1st of January, because that is the qualifying date. That was the qualifying date then, to become eligible to be a voter. So normally we waited for the calendar year to change, because if you become 18 on 1st of November, you become eligible. But if you become 18 on 2nd of November, you are not eligible because you are 1 day short. You have to wait till next year, next 1st of January. So we decided to change all that, and we said we will start looking for these young people beforehand. So in September, we worked out our plan, and we said that in October, November, and December, we'll look for these young people who will become 18, and we'll have their data ready so that when the calendar changes and 1st of January comes, they become eligible. Within a couple of days, nationwide, we will declare our electoral rolls. And we decided that we will go to these young people, make them fill their form to become voters, and take their pictures and make their photo identity card. So on 5th of January 2011, we notified the electoral roll, and till 25th of January, in 20 days, we collected the photographs of these new voters, and there were 18 million in the first year. And we decided that we will organize 8 lakh functions on every booth across the country. 8 lakh functions, imagine, not a small thing. So, and so that we can give these voter cards to these young people. So around middle of October, I wrote a letter to the then cabinet secretary, Mr. K. M. Chandrasekhar was the name. So telling him that we are celebrating National Voters Day, and requested him to ask all the departments and the states and the ministries to extend necessary cooperation. Not that we needed much cooperation, because these are things we could do ourselves. Middle of October, I wrote that letter. November gone, October gone, November gone, December gone. January, on 19th of January, I got a call from Mr. Chandrasekhar, the cabinet secretary. Qureshi, your proposal for National Voter Day is coming before the Union Cabinet. So the moment he used the word proposal, my heart sank, because I had already made all the arrangement countrywide. And what if the proposal is rejected? Then after a very pregnant pause, he said, there are 2 questions you have to answer. I said, tell me. He says, do you want a national holiday? And how much money do you need? I said, I don't want a holiday, and I don't want a single rupee from you. So he was taken aback. He says, are you mad? You have yourself written you're going to organize 8 lakh functions, and you say you don't need money. I said, no, I'm not mad. I know what I'm talking about. Registering voters is my job anyway. I register them round the year anyway. All that I'm doing is converting a non-ongoing normal activity into an event, because an event creates the impact. So this must be the only proposal approved by the Union Cabinet without a cabinet memorandum, which is the procedure that if you have a proposal, you make a memorandum with all the details, send it to 15, 20 ministries for their comments, objections, and sort them out. And then only when everything is resolved, then it goes to the cabinet. But here was a proposal based on my 10-line letter. It was proposed to the cabinet and they approved it. Now, we have been celebrating National Voters' Day since then, 25th of January, which was the Founders' Day of Election Commission. Now, the very first National Voters' Day was attended by about 35 chief election commissioners of the world. And the function was presided over by our Rashtrapati, Srimati Pratima Patil at that time. In her opening speech, presidential speech, she said that her granddaughter had become 18 that day. She had got her card and how excited she was and how excited the Rashtrapati was that her granddaughter became a voter. So, and after that, she gave to some young people, about 8, 9, 10, sample as a sample, these voter cards to represent 1.8 million people who were given that card that day. Next year, since it was done in a hurry, so 1.8 million. Next year, it was 3.8 million people who, sorry, not 18 million, 38 million. So that was the number of new voters and first-time voters who were enrolled and registered, and that was the trend for coming years. The importance is that Constitution on this day in 1949, when it decided to create the Election Commission of India and gave voting rights, another significant thing which happened was universal adult franchise was introduced, or that means equal voting right to men and women were given on day one. Now, you might wonder what is the big deal about it. Yes, there is a big deal. If I tell you that United States, which is considered the greatest democracy on the planet, they took 144 years to give equal voting rights to women. UK, the mother of modern democracy, took 100 years to give equal voting rights to women. And here was India, a poor country with 84% illiteracy, extreme poverty, social division in everything. They gave, they took such a progressive decision, and they gave equal voting rights from day one. Now, the Western world was aghast when we adopted democracy and became a republic. They thought we guys have gone mad. With 84% illiteracy, they said, how will democracy function? These guys don't know what to do with vote, what is vote, and they've been empowered. And surely the experiment will flop, and India will fail in this experiment. But we proved the prophets of doom wrong in our very first election, which happened in 1951 and 52. And I must salute our first Chief Election Commissioner, Mr. Sukumar Sen, who was an ICS officer of West Bengal cadre. He was then the Chief Secretary of West Bengal, who was given this responsibility by Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru to conduct the election. Now, why I think he deserves a salute and to be remembered more than even Mr. T.N. Session, who is the most famous of all the Chief Election Commissioners, because Mr. Sukumar Sen had no infrastructure. There was no manpower. There was no previous experience. And he created election machinery out of nothing. And he prepared the entire plan and executed it. And in 68 phases, he conducted the election over a period of 6 months or so. And a wonderful election. And I must say that 80% of the system which was created then by Mr. Sukumar Sen is the system that we still follow. We have, of course, made some improvement, and we have, most important of which is that we have adopted technology. We are using EVM, but basic system, the core system is still the same. So, all thanks to the Constitution. Now, your title is that Constitution is the pillar of democracy, without doubt, because Constitution has laid down the framework how India will be governed in future. So the governance of the largest democracy in the world has to be a kind of a model which was created by the Constitution, which was introduced on this day in 1949, but full Constitution was promulgated on 26 January. It took 2 years, 11 months, and 17 days for the Constitution to be drafted. There were more than 7,300 amendments which were proposed and discussed and disposed of. And after taking into account all the suggestion, the Constitution was finally adopted. Now, another important, most important, significant thing which I would like to point out, that I have very often said that India is secular, because our Constitution is secular to the core. So India is secular because Hindus are secular. So many people have often questioned me, what do you mean by that? And I say what I mean is that when India was partitioned in the name of religion, one part became a republic, Islamic Republic of Pakistan. There was nothing to stop us from becoming Hindu Republic of India, of Bharat. But no, the Constituent Assembly, which had 94% Hindus, and most of them upper caste Hindus, 94%, they adopted unanimously India to be a secular country. So that is another very significant thing which actually makes the Constitution a pillar of our democracy. You know, many people, you must have heard many times that in the preamble to the Constitution, which has these famous words, we the people of India give to ourselves this Constitution. People are sovereign, with despite 84, 86, 84% being illiterate. They are sovereign, they are the rulers of the country. Now, the word secularism and socialism was introduced in 1976 during emergency. So many people criticize it and they want to delete the word secularism. My answer is that even if you delete it, it doesn't really make any difference to the Constitution, because every article of the Constitution is secular. Every Constitution article talks of equality, freedom of religion, the fundamental right, freedom of religion, freedom to practice your religion, freedom even to propagate your religion, proselytize, even to convert people. It's all part of the Constitution. So actually, this word secularism was not to change the character of the Constitution, but only to reflect the character which this Constitution already had. So, and the other word was socialism, because in those days we were a socialist country. Now that, of course, has undergone a lot of change. We were then a mixed economy. Now we are more inclined towards capitalism, which is fine. Now, one character feature of which makes it a pillar is the fundamental rights. Now, which is the cornerstone of the Constitution, and which gives you right to equality, freedom of speech and expression, and the right to life and liberty. And it is laid down that all citizens will enjoy these freedoms. This is absolutely integral to the Constitution. Then another dimension of the Constitution is the directive principles of state policy. They unfortunately does not get the attention it deserves. These are very important principles, because these principles are not enforceable in the court. They are only advisory, where the Constitution says that these principles will guide the state in formulating policies that promote the welfare of the people, reduce inequality, and ensure social justice. So we need to remember the directive principles and ensure that we make it a reality. Then another principle of the Constitution, which has worked very well, is the separation of powers. In three pillars of governance: legislature, executive, and the judiciary. They have their own role, they have their power, but they cannot overlap each other. They have to work within their domain. But some kind of an overlap is provided. For instance, Parliament passes the act, but there is the power of judicial review, so Supreme Court can declare a law ultra vires, unconstitutional, and the law will cease to exist. And many times that has been done by the Supreme Court. So therefore, that is to make sure that legislature does not behave irresponsibly. And one very important thing in this context that Supreme Court has done, as far back as 1973, that they said, although till today there have been, I think, 106 constitutional amendments. So that kind of flexibility was provided by the Constitution itself. It was not a rigid document. It is the most detailed constitution in the world. And it laid down all the principles, but at the same time it said that this is not going to be rigid and it's not going to be for all time. If you need to amend it for any reason, the procedure was laid down in the Constitution itself. I think it was Article 368. Now, 106 amendments have taken place, but in 1973, Supreme Court said that there are certain features of the Constitution which will constitute basic structure of the Constitution. They cannot be amended. Otherwise, what happens in many democracies, in many banana republics, a new party comes with a majority, because obviously a party comes with a majority. With majority, they change the Constitution to suit themselves. Now, that is just not possible in India. Now, what are the basic principles? Federalism. Federal structure cannot be changed. Secular character cannot be changed. Free and fair elections cannot be changed. So the basic structure doctrine, which was given by Supreme Court, actually has protected the Constitution from irresponsible majoritarianism, because any parliament could overthrow the Constitution or change it drastically. That's not possible. While significant changes can be made, and many significant changes have been made. That way, Supreme Court has been the guardian of the Constitution and protector of our fundamental rights. So this is extremely important. Then amendment procedure, as I already mentioned, already is provided. Now, what is the importance of this day? Number one, we should remember the founding fathers of the Constitution on this day, and we pay our tribute to them. It is very good that the present government introduced Constitution Day in 2015. For the last 8 years, this is being celebrated, which is a very good thing to create awareness and consciousness among the citizens of India. So we pay tribute to the framers of the Constitution, who, through painstaking deliberations, crafted a document that embodies the aspirations and values of a very diverse nation. Then to educate citizens about their rights and also about their duties. Another thing which gets neglected in our entire narrative and discourse is the chapter on fundamental duties. That's very important. There are 11 of them. We should remember them. So we only talk of our rights, we don't talk of our duties. So we should publicize them. We should educate citizens about that. Then remembering and honoring Dr. Ambedkar. This is another reason for celebration of the Constitution Day, and we are very proudly remembering him. Now, in the final part, I'll just come to the elections. Because free and fair elections are, there was a debate whether this should be a fundamental right. So after some debate, they said, okay, we'll not call it fundamental right, but a matter of fundamental importance. So free and fair election is a basic structure of the constitution, mind you. So there is no compromise on that. And we have to ensure. Now, how has the constitution ensured it? By six very important articles from 324 to 329. The Article 324 particularly is a remarkable article which which created the Election Commission of India and gives it the power to superintendence, direction and control of all elections, from President of India, Vice President, Rajya Sabha, Lok Sabha, Vidhan Sabha, and Vidhan Parishad. So all these elections are under the Election Commission of India. For local bodies, Constitution was amended in 1993 and 73rd, 74th Amendment when reservation was provided for women in the Panchayati Raj election. Now, one very significant thing which normally is not mentioned in the public debate and narrative, that India is a federal country. So why should Election Commission of India, who conduct election to Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, why should we be conducting elections in the states? That should be conducted by state assemblies, state election commissions. But no, the framers of the constitution was very far-sighted, Dr. Ambedkar particularly, who was the leader. So because they found out, they got feedback quickly that many states were manipulating the electoral roll in such a way that all outsiders were being excluded from the electoral roll. So it will be Bengal for Bengali, the Odisha for Odia, Tamil Nadu for Tamils, Maharashtra for Maharashtrians. So no outsider will ever be enrolled, which would have been dangerous, which would have been a negation of our democracy. So the Constituent Assembly decided that even the state elections will be conducted by the Federal Election Commission, which is Election Commission of India. It's a departure from the principle of federalism, but a conscious and deliberate departure in the larger interest. And how far-sighted they were, we have seen that there have been attempts in various parts of the country to exclude. In Assam, Bengali-speaking people are sought to be excluded, and in many states, a similar trend. So that is not possible because of the constitution. This the institution which was created is fiercely autonomous and fiercely independent. It says that once appointed, the CEC cannot be removed, except like a judge of the Supreme Court. And what does it involve? Impeachment process. Impeachment through parliament, two-thirds majority of parliament, and it's such a complex procedure. Nobody in India, any designation has ever been impeached so far. There have been 2-3 attempts in the past, but none has succeeded. They made it difficult. I was a civil servant. I was secretary in Youth Affairs and Sports Ministry. One more year to go. But I had to resign from the IAS to take over as the election commissioner, so that my umbilical cord with the government is cut off. Now I'm no longer a government servant. Now I'm an election commissioner, which is an independent constitutional authority and provided by the constitution, and I have to act independently and keep an arm's length distance from the government. Same people who appointed me will not be able to order me because of the constitutional protection. Now, unfortunately, so far, because at that time when this protection was from removal was given by the Constitution, it was a single member institution, the only one person, CEC. And there was also a debate about this. And they thought that the election will be held once in 5 years. Why have multiple people doing nothing for 5 years? So first they thought, let us have a part-time CEC. But then they say, no, part-time will not do because electoral rolls have to be updated every year, just in case there is a by-election. Therefore, okay, let us have one person who will be called Chief Election Commissioner, and he will be protected from removal. In 1993, it became a multi-member commission, three-member commission. So logically, the protection was not for an individual, but for the institution, which means this protection should be available to all three, which hasn't happened. And we have been demanding, election commission has been demanding, because it does create questions about independence. The two who are not protected, they feel they are on probation. They keep looking over their shoulder whether the government will be happy with me or not, and will they elevate me to CEC or not. Now that weakens the institution. I'm very happy that the latest bill which was introduced, and right now it is under consideration of a committee, has tried to rectify this defect, and they have proposed that even the other two commissioners will be similarly protected, and they also cannot be removed except through impeachment. So then I'm just finishing. If that is what you're saying.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because of some technical issue, I want to finish as little bit fast.
Okay.
Okay,
All
fine.
right. I think most of the things I wanted to say I've said. So
Right.
in any case, for election commission is the greatest gift of the Constitution to the nation,
Right.
and its obligation to act neutrally, fairly,
Right.
is paramount. And I hope that it continues to discharge its functions as expected by the Constitution. Thank you very much.
Yes, sir. And thank you. So thank you very much for making us aware of the significant facts of our rich constitution. Uh, Indeed, sir, constitution is a pillar of democracy, and through you, we are blessed with the significant aspects of constitution, namely National Voters Day and Universal and National Adult Franchise. Right, sir? And because of running short of time, I invite Assistant Professor, Department of Business Administration, Shilpa ma'am, to go for the question answer session. Please, ma'am.
Good evening, everyone. I hope I'm audible.
Yes, ma'am.
After this enriching session, I hope that our students are up with their questions. Let me read the first question, the first query. So, the first question from our student is: what can be done to make the youth more aware and respectful of the democratic values of the Constitution?
Yeah, very good question. Um, you know, when I was there in the election commission, I have some background of communication. My PhD is in communication. So when I saw two, three things, one, that the voter turnout was very low in metros and big cities, and youth were not participating and women were not participating. They were not even getting enrolled, or they were not coming out to vote. So we set up a voter education division basically to address the youth, and we appointed 25,000 campus ambassadors. We organized educational activities in schools and colleges to make them aware of their right and their duties in the election process. And we also started the concept of national icons, which Mr. APJ Abdul Kalam, former Rashtrapati, because he had a great connect with youth, he made a video of appeal to the youth to come out and vote. So I think the lots of activities which are already happening under voter education program called SWEEP, Systematic Voter Education for Electoral Participation in Schools and Colleges, that is doing wonders.
Thank you so much, sir. The next question that I take is, where is the line between free speech and hate speech drawn accordingly in the Constitution of India?
Well, I don't recall exactly which article refers to free speech, but there are sections in the IPC, Indian Penal Code. There are sections in Representation of People Act very clearly, like Section 151 of IPC, and there are several sections of IPC which say that you cannot indulge in a speech which hurts the sentiments of the other, uh, which offends others, which can cause communal disharmony, and all. There are a whole lot of articles. So actually, it's no rocket science. If I am abuse you, so will there be any confusion? Is it a free speech or this is abusive speech? So abusive speech, hate speech is very loud and clear. It's only thing is that we have to be sensitive to it and we have to take action on it, and strong action and prompt action. Because if we don't, the abusers get away, and the more abusers in the queue, they get encouraged also to indulge in hate speech. So hate speech is a serious challenge to democracy, and it needs to be put down with a heavy hand.
Thank you so much, sir. The next question that I take is from a final year student. Is there any room for improvement in the way India implements its democracy in the current scenario?
Well, let us first have a look at the current scenario. Current scenario, we notice a lot of threat to the idea of secularism. In current scenario, we see a lot of hate speech. All kinds of irresponsible rubbish is spoken here and there, and they get away. And also constitution strictly prescribes equality. You will find that if one community commits the slightest mistake, police and enforcement agency go for them. When another community make a genocide call, no action is taken. So obviously, the moment you start discriminating, the problems begin, and it is for everybody to see. People are not blind, people see that happening. So therefore, and even the Supreme Court should come down heavily on it. Unfortunately, I'm very sorry to say that Supreme Court also has not been very alert on such a hate speech. One VIP should be put in jail only for one day, but make an example, and then others will shut up. So, but they make big speeches, and they are not controlling it. So institutions are getting a little weaker, which is all over the national debate. And I hope that it's a temporary phenomenon, and the democracy is very resilient, and it will bounce back, and we will get these problems sorted out.
Thank you so much, sir, for answering those queries.
Ma'am,
Next,
excuse me. Last question, take it from Priya Gupta. Priya Gupta, ma'am, just she raised her hand. I request you. Hello.
yes,
Just
sir.
1 minute. Just 1 minute later, before the last
Okay.
question.
Okay.
Let
Okay.
me let me point out my latest book, which is a collection of my published articles mainly. India's experiment with democracy. Experiment.
Yeah.
You remember I said when we adopted democracy, the Western world was mentioned that this is a disastrous experiment, it will fail. The
Right.
life of a nation through its election.
Great selection.
So, in fact, this was launched in Patna only
Yeah.
last month. And I do recommend this book to our students,
Yeah.
student and civil service aspirants particularly, because besides my published articles, it has one section which has all the articles of the Constitution and the acts which have a bearing on the election, and
Yes.
some landmark judgments. They are listed here for
Yeah.
easy reference.
Yes. Okay. We will certainly, sir. Yes. Priya
Ajay, sir,
Gupta.
can you take that question? I cannot find the section of question here. So can you please take that
No,
question of Gupta
no, she
from?
raised the hand. I believe, Vikas sir, can you allow her to ask the video part? Anyway, it's not possible. Okay, that was your last question, ma'am.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so ma'am, thank you very much.
No, one second. Pallavi has raised her hand. Pallavi, would you like to unmute yourself and ask your question? You have to unmute first.
Vikas sir, just allow her.
Meanwhile, I would just like to announce that
Yes,
after
yes,
the
she allowed.
question answer session, the
Yeah.
feedback link will be circulated in Google Meet chat box and YouTube, the link of attendance as well, which will be working or operational for 10 minutes. Thank you. Now, Pallavi can ask her question.
I think she's not able to unmute herself. Vikas, please allow her to unmute. Chalo, doesn't matter. So
Okay.
she can write. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you, ma'am, for conducting this session, and thank you, sir, for answering the queries of our students. Many questions still left, but very soon again we will have another webinar. Then maybe that webinar will be only for the question answer session. Uh, Now we are approaching towards the end of the webinar. So I invite Sister Grace, IQAC coordinator, to propose the vote of thanks.
Hello,
Uh,
good
uh,
evening. Am I audible, sir?
yes,
Yes.
sister, you are audible, please.
Okay, thank you so much. A very good evening to one and all present here. In the symphony of academia, where knowledge orchestrates our journey, let me extend a reverent note of gratitude to all who have played vital roles in making this event a resounding success. Esteemed resource person Dr. S.Y. Qureshi, former Chief Election Commissioner of India, a beacon of democratic principles, respected Father Joseph Sebastian Este, our dear rector of the college, respected Father Dr. Martin Porus Este, our revered principal, Father Dr. Shushil Bilung Este, our respected vice principal, Mr. Ajay Kumar, the director of NSS, Dr. Alok Baran, the chairperson of Social Awareness Committee, honored guests, respected faculty members, dear participants, and lovable students. First and foremost, a heartfelt thanks to our distinguished resource person, Dr. S.Y. Qureshi, for gracing us with your profound insight and expertise on the Indian Constitution. Your comprehensive and illuminating discourse has not only enriched our understanding but has served as a guiding light, reminding us of the constitutional principles that form the bedrock of our democracy. To Father Martin Porras S.J., the principal of St. Xavier's College of Management and Technology, for your visionary leadership and your commitment to fostering intellectual dialogue aligns seamlessly with the democratic spirit we celebrate today. A special note of appreciation to Mr. Ajay Kumar, the director of NSS, our diligent convener, for orchestrating the smooth execution of this national webinar. Your meticulous planning and dedication have ensured the success of this endeavor. A heartfelt thanks extended to Dr. Alok Baran, the chairperson of Social Awareness Committee. Thank you for your instrumental role in the execution of this national webinar. Ms. Nivedita Sharma, an active member of NSS, your heartfelt prayer has set the tone for this event, providing a moment of reflection and unity. Thank you for bringing a sense of spirituality to our proceedings. Ms. Shilpa Sharma, the Assistant Professor, Department of BBA, we extend our gratitude for skillfully managing the question and answer session. A special acknowledgement goes to Ms. Priya Manish Kumar, coordinator of BAJMC and the technical staff who have worked diligently behind the scenes to ensure the smooth running of this event. To our honored guests, faculty members, dear participants, and lovable students, your active engagement has been the heartbeat of this webinar, creating a platform for the exchange of knowledge and ideas. In the spirit of Dr. B.R. Ambedkar's words, let us recognize that the strength of our Constitution lies not just in its words, but in the collective responsibility to uphold its ideals. As we depart from this virtual gathering, may we carry forward the torch of democratic values and constitutional principles that have illuminated our discourse today. Let us carry forward the spirit of democracy and equality that our Constitution upholds. Thank you all for being a part of this enriching experience. Jai Xavier, Jai Bharat. Thank you.
Thank you, sister. Thank you very much for your enriching vote of thanks. And thank you, everyone, to be a part of this very much awaited webinar. Sir, as a norm of our college, first our resource person leaves the meeting. Sir, thank you very much for your presence and your valuable time. Thank you. Now, everyone, and yeah, Father. Oh, Father, you are there. Okay,
Yeah,
Father.
yeah.
Father,
Yes,
thank you very much. Thank you, everyone.
okay.
I request everyone to switch on your videos. So our resource person is not here now. We all, yeah. Look, sir. Right, sir. Right, Father. You
Yes,
would
please.
like to say something?
Yes, congratulations to all of you who worked hard for this program. It was wonderful, short and sweet, very enlightening. Thank you. Congratulations.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you,
Thank
Father.
you, Father. Thank you,
Really.
Father, for your presence. Thank you, everyone. Thank
Uh,
you.
And
And
Ajay sir,
Congratulations, Ajay sir. It
thank you.
was well arranged, coordinated,
Yeah.
and then it was full. So many students participated, and staff also are there. So good initiative. Congratulations.
Thank you. Many students couldn't enter.
I
They
think
just
they are on the YouTube. YouTube.
they just managed messaged me. And Vikas sir, thank you very much for your cooperation. Without you, I believe this program was not at all possible. And Shilpa ma'am, thank you very much for within a very short notice. You prepared, and moreover, you gave me confidence. That's the big part. Thank you.
Most welcome, sir. It was a very well coordinated program.
No, thank you. And Vidyanand sir, where are you? Vidyanand sir. Okay. Okay. Thank you, everyone. Yes, Alok sir, कुछ बोलना है sir?
Hello,
thanks
sir.
to everyone.
Congratulations.
Thank
Congratulations.
you, sister.
Thank
Thanks to
you.
everyone.
Yeah.
We did it. And
Yeah.
the attendance link has been sent in the chat box and that YouTube too. So we are done. Thank you, Ajay
Oh,
sir,
thank
sister,
you.
Shilpa
Okay,
ma'am,
bye. Bye
everyone.
bye. Can we leave now?
Yeah,
Ah,
sure.
yes, yes, yes. We
Okay.
can leave now.
Thank you so much. Thank
Okay. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, everyone. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, all the students also. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, all the students also. Thank you.